Officially, everyone, welcome to Game Beyond the Game presents Talk That Talk, inspiring conversations with professional athletes where we inspire our audience as we explore finding vision and purpose and discuss tools to overcome life's transitions. I am Sam Pearson, second-year MC, and we are joined with founder Prince Daniel Jr. They already know a little bit, but officially, let us know how you're doing, Prince. How are you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling amazing. Woo!
Amazing. Okay, give me some of that energy.
It's another beautiful day, man. Just extremely thankful and grateful to be able to open my eyes and smile and breathe in this fresh air. I hope that everybody else is doing amazing as well. And if you're not, well, stay tuned because we are going to give you some inspirational stuff to keep you inspired in life.
For sure. And as you all are keeping up, I'm positive of that. Or if you're just now hopping on with us and getting to know Game Beyond the Game right now, we are in the process of a series, right? The series of incredible conversations and delivering your tip, as I like to call them. So, Prince, what's going on with that? Like, let's dive a little bit deeper so we can bring people up to speed on our series.
Well, every week, everyone, we've been providing valuable content. Me and Stan be coming here every week, and we're making sure that we can give you a high quality and high value story so that you can relate to these people and their storytelling. Some of the things that we've been covering is, this four-part series is transition, inspiration. We're going to be covering purpose next week, and after that, we're going to cover quanswers. Well, that's Q&A. Questions and answers.
Put that together. I like it. Quanswers.
Yeah. So, make sure that you go and follow us and support us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I know we're going to hop into this real quick. Again, folks, make sure that obviously you might be catching our wonderful, handsome faces. If you don't believe it, we do. That's good enough for now, right? But if you can't catch us here on video, make sure that you catch us on Apple and Spotify podcasts and that clearly on YouTube at Game Beyond the Game. And I know I want to talk about some inspiration. We started with transition in the first part. Now we move on to inspiration. So, let's talk about that. Like, why are we moving into inspiration? And, how do we find inspiration?
Well, that's the reason why we created the show. We created the show to inspire athletes and help them with their transition and find their purpose and their vision in life after the game, or what I like to say, in the game of life. And so that's the reason why we're talking about inspiration in this episode. Last week, we talked about transition. We want to make sure that everybody has an understanding of how to make that transition. And you have to make that transition by, bringing along your body, your mind, and your spirit, and they need to always be connected. So that's the reason why. And also, we were inspired to inspire others by telling them that, you can inspire yourself from within. But we created Talk That Talk, one, because of the pandemic, and two, because we want you to understand that there are other people out there in the world that have a story that relates to you, and it's going to inspire you. So make sure that you listen to their storytelling, to their anecdotes, to their lessons, and the wisdom that they share.
Heck yeah. And I'm sure I feel like there's definitely been some folks we've learned from or been inspired by through the show.
But before we even jump into that, Stan, who has inspired you? What were people that inspired you? And who resonated with you? And what were some of those guests? And what did you learn from them?
Wow. Let's reflect a little bit on who's inspired us. I'd say, I'm going to start with, Legadoo. Nene, who played for the Los Angeles Chargers. He was speaking about his mindset and how he knew what it was going to take for him to achieve his goals. He had a plan of action. And that was super inspiring. And because, you can hear the passion and the determination, the don't quit in his voice. He speaks with such conviction. So he made it happen. He had faith, man. And again, he had a plan of action.
And that's really big because a lot of people have faith, but no plan of action. and or it might be vice versa. And so it's always great. And I think that's the key to reaching a level of success is having faith and a plan of action.
Oh, so true. And so what about you, Prince? What kind of who sticks out to you, or what kind of what's been resonating with you?
Man, it's been a lot of people. Let you do Lance Moore, Sam Lofton, Latoya Bond, Carolyn Moose, Michael Cox, just RJ Stanford, James Lee. It seems like
Julie Prantle. Let's just go ahead, but every guest,
everybody, Mario West, Rob Sims, Jason Carter, Christian. I want to say Christian Okoye. That's the wrong. Christian, you out there. Oh, there we go. Christian Sicoli,
DeLavalier,
Joe DeLamalier, Todd DeLamalier. All of the above. Everyone that has been on the show has inspired us in some way, fashion, or form, and just very thankful for that, man. So, man, I can't say enough. It's a lot of guests that I've been inspired by, but right now I think it'll be a really good time to highlight them. What do you think?
Absolutely, I'd love to do that. Let's share how we're going to highlight those folks. I love it.
Okay. All right, but before we go into our guests, this 4-part series will be the last episode for this year, everyone. So we want you to know that. And we will resume back in January. And we have more amazing guests as they share their stories and inspiration in assisting us in all of life. So don't miss out.
Don't miss out. Absolutely.
All right. So right now, we want to reflect on some of the guests and what they've done to inspire us. So let's give it a go. Like Stan said, our first guest is Legidu Nene, played for the Chargers. And just watch his video, as he just speaks about the things that resonated with him. All right.
And so, for me, it was like at that point in time, I was like, this is it. I'm a sophomore in college. And if I stay here, I'm marrying the decision right now. I'm not going to stay here and then in 6 weeks come back and have the same conversation. So I think that I knew that moment. I don't know how. I just knew that with the timing of what I wanted to do and studying how the trajectory, just how it goes. You need to have 2 years of film. As a quarterback, you need to have 3. That's why I was really feeling it my sophomore year. But I'm like, okay, either way, if I have 2 and I come in lights out, I'm gonna get an opportunity. So I was like, I'm just gonna be ready for that opportunity. I'm gonna be so ready that they can't take me off.
No, man, that right there had me buzzing in the inside because the way that he said it, he was convinced. He knew his whole plan. He had his plan of action, and he was looking to execute it. But he also had faith. You can tell by his conviction, the way he was saying, I just knew what I was going to do, man. What are your thoughts about it, Stan? Yep. My man Stan is out.
My apologies. It gave me chills because it's like when someone is working, when they're focused, when they're locked in, it always hearing him talk just takes you back to a moment where you were that way, or in moments where you're like, this is how I want to be. So yeah, it was the real deal.
That was the real deal, man. I really do appreciate him just coming on there and sharing his advice because there's a lot of things that we go through in life. And as I mentioned, without the proper planning, faith is worthless, man. So, you have to make sure that you have the faith and the proper planning so everyone can do their part and you can achieve your goal.
For sure. And also to his credit, there are plenty of times where if he at any point in his story was like, that's when I decided to quit, I would have been like, I get it. Because he was so transparent and let us know and had a discussion about what was going on. Yeah. But it reminded me, for the same reasons people quit are the exact same reasons people keep forging forward. And it again reminded me of every reason why we should continue to forge forward.
Oh, I love that, man. Speaking of forging forward, this brings us to our next guest, who's an incredible young lady. I mean, had an opportunity to speak with her one-on-one, and she has this energy that it's just easy to receive. Her name is Sam Lofton, and we had an amazing conversation with her. And this is an athlete who discovered the power of her mind while she was an athlete playing, which isn't entirely common, Stan. So,
that's right.
I want to hear some of her inspiring words.
Please, dude, can't wait.
All right, then let's go ahead and get it then. Miss Sam Lofton, incredible individual. Let's go.
And I think meditation can help with confidence because of that. You can just simply meditate on the opposite of these negative beliefs, or you can literally practice using your mind. Like the mind-body connection we're finding is so strong that it does take some time to make your meditation skills realistic enough, but you can, your brain can't really discern between reality and a dreamlike state. So you can literally meditate and make it as realistic, like as a dream, and you will then go out there and your brain's like, oh, I do this all the time. So confidence comes in preparation, but you could just sit in your bed and see yourself, catching a football over and over. Take the time to practice to make it realistic enough. And your brain's like, I do that. I do this all the time. So when you're on the field, when it matters, you don't have to fake it. Your brain's just like, yeah, I do this.
She said, confidence comes in preparation.
Yeah.
Let me repeat that one more time. Confidence comes in preparation. Ooh, that's heavy. That's heavy right there.
Heck yeah. Yeah, and then just, the notion of like, when your mind is like, yeah, I do this. Just like, it's like that. And I think some folks sometimes misunderstand confidence in how people are when they're in their element.
Right.
It's like you've been preparing for something so long and you just know it like the back of your hand. Like, yes, I'm certain of this. And that should give, I think maybe a younger, less mature me was intimidated by people who were like that. But now it inspires me. Like when I see that, I'm like, oh yeah, I know exactly. So it was amazing to hear her say that in the confidence and preparation piece.
Wow, that was really inspiring. Thank you for sharing that, Stan. I think a lot of us go through that where, in the beginning, like certain things can be intimidating, but then as you get older and you mature, those things start to inspire you and make you the best version of yourself. And that's really powerful. And that's what we're about. That's what Game Beyond the Game Talk is about. Making sure that you are inspired either from the inside or from the outside or both. So and that's a really big thing. And people need to understand that and just understand that we have a bigger purpose in life and use these tools to help you elevate yourself. So speaking of elevating ourselves, I mean, that's just an amazing segue into our.
You're on fire. You're in the zone.
Hey man, let me get my pen. Let me get my pen. But man, who do we have for our next guest?
Man, Latoya Bond.
Oh.
She's amazing. This woman played in the WNBA. On a team sport. And she was medically diagnosed, being on the spectrum of autism. And, she was coming from a challenging place of having, social and emotional, while having social and emotional interactions, and through it all, she overcame them and she exceeded and still is exceeding everyone's expectations, including her own. So, you have to check her out as she shares some wisdom. So you all lock in. Latoya Bond. She was amazing.
She was. I was inspired by just her attitude, and even though she was very quiet, mute, should I say, she did some incredible things. And just being quiet and being mute doesn't mean that you're antisocial. It's just she's processing everything, And I think that she has a beautiful and incredible and intelligent mind. So let's think about her secrets to succeeding in whatever that you do.
Whatever you want to do, just put your mind to it and do it. Just give it your all. And if you fail, just continue to try. That's the only way to succeed. And what I would give, the advice I would give to the younger kids is, like I said before, just be yourself, be who you are. Whatever it is you want to do, put your mind to it, and just go out there and get it. If you can dream it, if you believe it, you can do it.
Just solid, man. Like, come on. If you can dream it, you can do it. Like, that's a cliche saying we hear so many times. But what I've realized is that what Sam said, confidence comes in preparation. And so when you prepare for a moment and you dream about something and you see it, you have to continue to keep working towards that goal because it will become a reality. That's just like a seed being put in the ground. At some point in time, the seed has to say, I'm going to break out of this soil and grow and be the best version of myself that I can possibly be. Like so true. It's the law of the universe. It's what we live in, and once we find that wave, we can catch that wave or we can create that wave. And so she's really, really, really done that. And I was truly inspired by Latoya.
Yeah. And as a bit of an aside, Latoya just saying, be yourself. It sounds so elementary, but if it were, no one would have a problem with it. But there's all these influences and we're inundated with information, what we should be like. So to be reminded of that, even as an adult, it's like, just be yourself, be comfortable in your skin. And that's truly how that's the only way that you truly arrive at the place or the mindset that you want to be, is like being yourself. It's so good and cool to hear that from folks that are crushing it, in their field and in life. So yeah, be yourself. So those of y'all listening, watching, what have you, like, be yourself.
Be yourself, man. You also said something too I want to highlight. You said crushing it, man. So when I think about crushing it, I think about like our next guest that also inspired me that I want to highlight as well. And this is a Super Bowl champion named Lance Moore. Man, this guy is incredible. I've seen him do some incredible things, and he never let his height, like predict his future. Like he had the heart of a lion. Actually, you couldn't even measure his heart with the just a ruler. It had to be the guy. I mean, the guy is incredible in everything that he does, and the way that he speaks is very inspirational. And he had a chance to come on the show, and he shared some great tips about what he learned through his journey in life, and how he's been sharing, some advice on, how you can ruin your own success if you don't put the work in. And so I want to highlight our last guest, which is Lance Moore. And so let's go ahead and hear some of his wisdom and what he has to say.
Heck yeah.
You can't expect people to go out of their way to help maximize your potential if you're not going to do it. I always say a closed mouth doesn't get fed, right? So if you're going to just sit there and operate and think everything is going to happen in your favor, then you're foolish. You've got to be proactive in making sure that all of the things that you aspire to be and aspire to achieve can happen, and don't allow your lack of effort or lack of sense of urgency on these things that could potentially send your career one way or the other.
Look,
my guy. Whew.
Lack of urgency, lack of effort. One thing that one of my friends told me, my friend Lee, he said that effort is free. Oh.
Effort is free.
It's free. He said, but you choose. You can choose if you want to put in the effort. And a lot of times we don't put in the effort to get the results that we want. Sometimes we expect for somebody else to do it. But if you put in the effort in the beginning and learn everything in the beginning or through the growing pains, and I guarantee you, you won't experience too many growing pains later on in life.
Yeah, man. And the other part, man, when you said, you can't expect others to go out of their way for you when you won't go out of your way for you. That's a whole bar. Again, you can't expect others to go out of their way for you when you won't go out of your way for you. Just the way he said that resonates, because it's like people like to see effort. Effort is free. And if folks see you grinding and pushing and trying, when they meet up with you, or, it's like, oh, okay, well, I trust you. If you're willing to give for yourself, well, I got some extra I can give to you too. So that
it's amazing that you say that, because that reminds me of someone car breaking down on the road, and you start pushing the car by yourself, and then all of a sudden 3 other people, 4 other people, 5 other people come out and they start helping you push the car into a safe area, and that's the power of that inspiration of us coming together and actually making a movement. No pun intended, but you can move things, man. And we can move things together. We can do some incredible things together when we come together and we see those things. But I always tell people, remind people, like, if I want something more than you, then you don't want it.
Oh, hey.
If I want something more for you, then you want it for yourself, then you don't want it.
I don't have anything to add to that. You're absolutely, it's real. We try to talk ourselves out of that being exactly that, but in part, it just is.
It just is.
It just is. And it's interesting you mentioned that, because sometimes we will stress ourselves out while we're pursuing someone else's dream for them. Like, we create our own anxiety by pursuing someone else's dream for them when they're not convinced themselves. So for those of you all listening,
that was
keep that in mind.
That was a bar right there. Yeah, that was a bar.
Yeah. The zone, you gave it to me. It's spirit is contagious. You gave me the zone.
Baby, we in it, man.
Heck yeah.
Like, man, we've enjoyed this time together. Somebody made a comment. Miss Lynetta G. Boss. She said, together it's better. 100. She is right. 100.
Yeah. Together is better. Listen, it's funny because there are folks out there that think they can do life by themselves, or even take pride in doing something by themselves. It's cool if that's the road that that you're on, or that you feel like you have to take. But I always remind people, hey, you can do it by yourself, but you don't have to.
Yeah,
that is what folks have to remember. Like, you don't have to, regardless of how you grew up, where you came from, what you're going through. The journey doesn't have to happen by yourself. You may have to be more intentional about who and what you put around you, but the journey isn't made just for you. You'll spend some of that time by yourself, but it doesn't always have to be that way.
Right. Somebody said that, it's lonely being at the top. I heard people say it's lonely being at the top. And I heard people say that I don't care if I'm lonely at the top. I just want to be at the top. For me, like, when you get to the top and you're there, you want other people to be there with you. So then that way, 1, you guys can enjoy the journey together, and 2, you can break bread together and enjoy the beauty of life. So that's what it's about community, about coming together, about being there for one another, about if you see one person pushing a car on the road and you don't even know them, they are considered a stranger. Guess what? You have went out your way to help that person push their car into a safe area. And now you can go about your merry way, and you just done your good deed for the day, for the month, for the week, but you're contributing back to our evolution of human beings and spiritual beings having a human experience. So just remember that, these are those small things. If we can smile as well, it's an infectious disease. I don't want to say it like that, but it is. It's like one of the perfect infectious diseases. You smile and somebody else smile back at you.
Heck yeah, absolutely agree. 1000%. You know, if people can believe that, let's say, bad things or bad happenings are contagious, why not believe the exact same thing for things that are great? I don't believe in bad luck. I try to live in a state of dynamic anticipation, and that's about, you know, being a product of the folks that you're around. And you and I, you know, we are always complimentary of each other. And I think that's a transferable skill, because you want to take that and pour into the people that you're around so that you rise together. And that helps in spirit, mind, body, and soul, and in life. So for those of you all thinking about how to grow, it's the small things that yield some of the greatest benefits, man. Prince, any final words before we get out of here?
One, I just want to say, Glenetta G Boss, thank you for that comment. We appreciate you. We love you. Thanks for the support. And yes, as always, remember, no matter what you do, if you get lost, you feel like you can't go left, you can't go right, you can't go forward, you can't go back, there's always another way to go. Go up. And in order to go up, you got to go within. You go within, you go up. Those are my final words.
And if you do that, you will never go without. Prince, thank you very much for those final words. Folks, remember, this is a part of our 4-part series. At the end of this 4-part series, we're done for the season. Remember, this 4-part series, you know, we're discussing, you know, transition. Today, we're in inspiration. It'll be purpose, and then a closeout. We'll bring it all and wrap it up in a bow. Prince will wrap it all in a nice bow for you. So again, I just want to say, don't forget, you know, that this is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. So make sure you subscribe on YouTube and share, review, please leave a comment. That is how we will continue to grow and find the right ears and the right minds to grow together. So stay tuned. You know, we have some great things lined up for you all in the upcoming year. You know, we will be back in January, and we hope that you enjoy the inspiration that you get from this show through amazing storytelling, and have the tools to help you in life through any transition. So next week, we'll be talking about finding your purpose in the game beyond the game life. So remember, stay tuned with us until the end of the season, and continue to be uplifted. So officially, you know, thank you all for watching, for listening via podcast, and certainly on YouTube, to all these, you know, incredible, inspiring stories and people we've had the opportunity to interview. Again, for those of you all watching, don't forget, like, comment, and share on our YouTube page at Game Beyond the Game. You can join us here next week, Game Beyond the Game's Facebook Live, every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all so very much. Until next time, peace.
Peace.